Okay, let's talk about that feeling. You know, the one you finally say no to something and then bam, that wave of guilt just washes over you. You start replaying it thinking, oh, did I sound harsh? Are they mad? Am I just being difficult? It's exhausting,
Oh,
right?
completely. It's almost universal, that discomfort.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Boundaries. It sounds simple, set a boundary,
Hmm.
but actually doing it, that feels like a whole different ball game for so many people. It's like really, really hard.
It is. And a big part of why it's so hard is this, well, this sort of invisible script we've all learned. Our sources actually call it a mirage.
A mirage. Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, it's this pervasive idea that saying no or setting any kind of limit
Yeah.
automatically makes you a bad person,
Yeah.
or a bad friend, a difficult colleague, maybe an unsupportive partner.
Right, like you're somehow failing if you're not available 24/7.
Exactly. So our mission today in this deep dive is to kind of unpack that illusion. We want to look at the insights from our sources, specifically setting boundaries without guilt from the mirages, mindful conversations. The goal is to give you, the listener, some real strategies to understand boundaries, set them, and crucially, stick to them without feeling like you're being selfish or letting everyone down.
And mirages, just so we're clear.
Ah, right. It's actually an acronym the authors use, stands for Mindful Reworking of Guilt and Emotional Strain.
Oh, that's good. Mirages, mindful reworking of guilt.
Yeah, it really captures what we're talking about, seeing that guilt for the illusion it often is. So this isn't just about knowing boundaries are good, it's about how to actually do them. It's pretty foundational stuff for, living a life that feels more authentic.
Okay, so this guilt mirage, it feels really strong sometimes.
Yeah.
Where does it actually come from? Why do we feel this almost compulsive need to be accommodating all the time?
Well, a lot of it is conditioning, isn't it? Society often rewards the yes person.
You get praised for being helpful, easygoing.
Yeah. Right. And sometimes, pleasing others does give you a little dopamine hit, a feeling of connection maybe. So it reinforces the behavior.
Even when it's actually running you ragged.
Precisely.
Mm.
And the sources we looked at are really clear about the consequences. This
Yeah.
isn't just about feeling a bit stressed. A chronic lack of boundaries is, and I'm quoting here, a fast track to burnout and resentment.
Burnout and resentment, that really hits home.
It does. Think about it like your energy is a finite resource, maybe like water in a bucket. Every time you say yes when you mean no,
Yeah.
it's like a little leak.
And eventually,
Eventually, the bucket's empty. And it's not just being tired, it's deeper. It's this emotional exhaustion where you start resenting the very people you are trying so hard to please.
okay, so boundaries aren't about being mean or pushing people away then.
Not at all. That's another misconception. Really, a boundary is about defining yourself. It's like drawing a line, kindly but clearly, around your personal space, your time, your energy.
So it's saying, this is me.
Yeah, essentially, this is who I am, this is what I need to function well, and this is what I can and can't do or what I will and won't accept. Without those lines, we kind of lose our shape. We end up just reacting constantly.
Which brings us back to the guilt. You said that's the real mirage. Why? Why is the guilt the illusion here?
Because the guilt tricks us into thinking we're responsible for how other people feel about our choices.
Like if they're disappointed by my no, that's somehow my fault.
Exactly. And the authors make this incredibly powerful distinction. We are responsible for our own behavior, how we communicate, acting with integrity, being kind, but we are not responsible for someone else's emotional reaction to our healthy choices.
Okay, say that again. Not responsible for their reaction.
Right. Their feelings, disappointment, maybe frustration, surprise, that's their stuff to manage. It's about their expectations, maybe their own discomfort with change. It doesn't automatically mean you did something wrong by setting a limit.
So the guilt is sort of misplaced responsibility.
Perfectly put. It's often rooted in this feeling that we have to manage everyone else's emotions, which is, well, impossible
Yeah.
and frankly unfair to ourselves.
Okay, so if we start to see the guilt differently, how do we actually begin? What's the practical first step?
Foundational step number one, according to the sources,
Yeah.
get really, really clear on your own needs. You can't set a boundary if you don't know where your line actually is.
Right. Which sounds obvious, but maybe isn't always easy.
It often isn't. It requires some honest self-reflection, asking yourself questions like, what really drains me, not just physically, but emotionally? What situations or requests consistently leave me feeling resentful later on?
Yeah, that resentment feeling. Yeah.
And crucially, what do I genuinely need to feel respected, healthy, and, okay in my own skin. This isn't about being selfish, it's about self-knowledge. It's essential.
But like you said, it can be hard. We're so used to just pushing through, aren't we? Tuning out our own signals.
We really are.
Right.
So the advice from the Mirage's material is brilliant in its simplicity. Start small.
Okay. Small steps. Like
Yeah.
what?
Like maybe your first boundary is deciding, okay, I'm not checking work emails after 6 p.m. Full stop.
That's a big one for a lot of people.
Huge.
Hmm.
Or maybe it's saying no to one social thing this weekend because you're genuinely feeling drained and need downtime. Internally you might battle, oh, but they'll be disappointed.
It's just one dinner.
Right. But you recognize, no, I need this quiet time. My yes wouldn't even be real. I'd be checked out. These small wins build confidence and help you tune back into your own needs.
Okay, so you figure out your need, maybe starting small. Then comes the tricky part, actually saying it. How do you deliver the boundary?
Ah, yes. The delivery. This is crucial. It's not just what you say. The sources reference Brene Brown's advice here, which is just gold. Be clear and kind.
Clear and kind. I like that.
Wait.
Not aggressive, not apologetic.
Exactly. You don't need to be harsh or passive-aggressive, but you also don't need to apologize profusely for having a need. Often, a simple, direct statement works best. It avoids adding extra emotional noise.
But isn't the instinct often to over-explain, to justify the no? I know I feel that sometimes.
Oh, definitely. It's a very common impulse. Think about the example they give. Thanks for the invitation, but I won't be able to make it. Period.
That period feels loud, doesn't it? Like brave.
It does, because it resists the urge to add, because I'm so tired and I have this other thing and my cat is looking at me funny.
Right. All the justifications tumble out. Why do we do that? Is it just the guilt again?
Mostly, yes. It often comes straight from that place of guilt, that feeling we need to soften the blow or manage their potential disappointment. We're trying to preemptively smooth things over.
But does it work? Does over-explaining help?
Actually, the sources say it often backfires. Over-explaining tends to weaken the boundary.
How so?
It gives the other person openings, like little hooks, to argue with your reasons, negotiate, or maybe even make you feel guiltier. If you list 5 reasons why you can't do something.
They might try to solve one of them for you.
Exactly. Oh, don't worry about being tired, just come for an hour. Or they might dismiss your reasons. A simple, polite, thanks, but I can't make it, actually respects both you and them. It trusts them to handle their own reaction.
Trusting them to handle it, that's a big shift, instead of trying to manage it for them.
It is. It links back to that core idea. You're responsible for your clear and kind communication, not their emotional response.
Okay, but let's be real. Sometimes people don't react well, right? Especially if they're used to you always saying yes.
Absolutely. That's a really important piece of this. Be prepared for that possibility. People might be surprised. They might push back a little, maybe express disappointment, maybe even try a subtle guilt trip.
And when that happens, it feels like proof that setting the boundary was wrong.
But here's the key insight, the aha moment from the sources. That negative reaction usually isn't a sign you did something wrong. Often it's a sign that the boundary is working.
Wait, how? A negative reaction means it's working.
Because it means you've disrupted an old pattern. You've changed the dynamic, and change, even positive change for you, can feel uncomfortable for others who are used to the old way. Their discomfort is often just a ripple effect.
Okay, I get that intellectually. But in the moment, when someone looks disappointed or maybe even annoyed, it's hard not to cave. How do you hold the line?
It is hard.
It's hard.
The sources suggest a few things. First, anchor yourself in your why. Remember why you set this boundary in the first place. Was it burnout? Mental health? Wanting more authentic connections? Keep that reason close.
Remind yourself of the purpose.
Yes. Second, self-compassion. It's okay to feel uncomfortable, acknowledge the guilt or the awkwardness, but don't let it dictate your actions. Feel the feeling, but stick to your boundary.
Don't let the feeling drive the bus.
Right. And third, maybe anticipate and rehearse. If you know a conversation might be tricky, think about likely reactions in practice, even just in your head, how you'll respond calmly and clearly without giving ground on the boundary itself.
So basically, you're teaching people how to treat the new you, the one with clearer lines.
It's a great way to put it. And it takes time and consistency, like strengthening a muscle. It might feel awkward at first, but it gets easier. And here's the thing. People who genuinely respect you,
Yeah.
they might be surprised initially, but over time, they'll likely come to appreciate that you're taking care of yourself. They'll value the real you more than the stretched, thin, potentially resentful version.
That makes sense. The authenticity is more valuable.
Exactly. Which brings us back to the core message from setting boundaries without guilt. We really need to stop buying into that mirage, that story that says setting boundaries is selfish.
It's the opposite, really.
It's fundamentally an act of self-respect
All
and
right.
self-care. It's not about building walls. It's about defining your space so you can actually thrive within it. It's about protecting your energy, protecting your yes, so you can give it wholeheartedly to things that truly align with you.
It really is a profound shift when you think about it that way. Not keeping others out, but letting your true self in, giving it space to breathe.
Precisely. When you do that, you actually show up better for others too. You have more genuine energy, more patience, more presence to offer because you're not running on empty.
So boundaries create space for your authentic self, and that's the self that can actually connect meaningfully.
Couldn't have said it better. Your worth isn't tied to how busy you are or how much you do for everyone else. It just is.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive then. The big takeaway is that the guilt we feel around boundaries, it's largely a mirage, a learned response based on the false idea that we're responsible for managing everyone else's feelings.
Right. We've seen it's often rooted in societal conditioning.
And the path forward involves getting clear on our own needs, even starting small.
Communicating those needs with clarity and kindness without over-explaining.
And understanding that other people's reactions, while sometimes uncomfortable, aren't necessarily a sign we did wrong, but often a sign the boundary is working.
It's about teaching them how to interact with the authentic you.
So here's a challenge for you listening. Think about one area, maybe one relationship or situation, where that guilt mirage consistently stops you from setting a needed boundary. Using what we've talked about, clear and kind, not responsible for their reaction. How could you reframe that? How could you approach setting that boundary as an act of self-respect, not selfishness?
And chew on this as you reflect. What if the strongest, most genuine relationships aren't built on endless people-pleasing, but on mutual respect, the kind of respect that healthy boundaries actually foster? Could it be that defining your lines doesn't push people away, but actually creates the space for deeper, more honest, more resilient connections? Maybe creating space for yourself actually creates more authentic space for others